smoking gun. Comey won't sleep at all tonight after his darkest secrets are revealed. Several news organizations, including the Daily Caller News Foundation, CNN, and USA Today, have filed a Freedom of Information Act lawsuit which seeks the release of all the memos that Comey wrote following his meetings with President Trump. As we know, Comey intentionally caused the release of just one of his memos after Trump fired him. This exclusive memo, Comey says, shows that Trump asked him to stop an investigation into Mike Flynn. Self-serving much? Late Friday, government attorneys responded to the lawsuit by asking the court to block the release of the bulk of Comey's memos. They say releasing the memos would be detrimental to Mueller's investigation into obstruction of justice and Russian interference with the 2016 election. But they won't say why. They say that saying why would also be detrimental to the investigation. Here's a little about the lawsuit and the memos.
Former FBI Director James Comey now scheduled to testify on Capitol Hill next Thursday. All eyes will be on this, but here's the thing. We're learning that perhaps President Trump could try to block Comey from testifying and discussing their conversation by asserting executive privilege. White House senior advisor Kellyanne Conway said President Trump will decide whether to invoke those presidential powers next week. Joining me now to discuss, Greg Jarrett and Tom Fitton. Tom, let me ask you first, listen, this is the moment of truth, the moment we've all sort of been waiting for. Not too long ago, earlier today, Senator Graham says he thinks this whole thing is going to turn into a hit job, or could turn into a hit job on President Trump. Your thoughts?
Well, certainly the reports since Comey's been fired about his disgust for the president show that he doesn't like him and is unlikely to testify in a way to make the president look good. But, that's neither here nor there politically. Frankly, that will probably make Comey look bad if he betrays confidences. I don't think the White House should prevent Comey from testifying, even though they have probably a legal leg to stand on there, or a legal right to. But if Comey's smart, he'll testify generally about his impressions from the meetings with the president without disclosing the specifics of what he was told. You just cannot have FBI directors betraying confidences like that. Right. And Comey, despite his bias against the president, I hope is smart enough to understand that he can disclose without breaking confidences.
Well, I think, Greg, obviously certain things will be redacted, but I think the key here is all these memos that he wrote after phone calls and meetings. If they're asked to read those out loud verbatim, whatever doesn't, betray national security, then it might turn into some form of a hit job. If he went home after one of those meetings and said, the president pushed me around, and he actually typed out those kind of words.
My guess is the most incriminating part of it was read to the reporters by the colleagues of James Comey. And that was, Flynn's a good guy, I hope he can be cleared. Well, hoping and wishing that something happened isn't the same as directing and ordering, which could arguably obstruct justice. So this is obstruction.
Right.
I would encourage the administration to take this approach to release the Comey memos, all the memos he wrote, notes he wrote about the Clintons and the meeting between Bill Clinton and Loretta Lynch. Are there notes like that? If he was only writing notes about Donald Trump, certainly it suggests that he had it in for Donald Trump. If there are other notes out there and memos to the file that he was writing after meetings with other political leaders in the administrations previous, they should be released as well. My view is let it all come out, but don't just rely on his testimony. Let's get the documents out there so people can judge them for themselves.
Real quick, Greg, the executive privilege, would that be able to be, could they use that?
He could invoke it, but I don't think he will. Lawyers have probably told him, look, you've probably waived the right to assert the privilege because you commented publicly about the conversation. And it would be political suicide. It would really look like the president is trying to cover up criminality when, in fact, there's no crime if the words are as stated in Comey's memo.
Let me ask you about the other part of the White House legal docket, if you will. The travel moratorium now being pushed to the Supreme Court. Your thoughts?
He's got a better chance in the Supreme Court. Kennedy will be the swing vote, so we'll wait and see. Well, what the lower courts did is they well exceeded their authority by looking at campaign rhetoric. The Supreme Court itself has never done that, and my guess is the Supremes will be very critical of the lower court judges for doing that. I mean, campaign rhetoric changes all the time.
Right.
You can't hold that against a guy when he becomes president and when he justifies within the order the reasons, national security, for naming these 6 nations.
Tom, how do you handicap it?
Oh, I think the president's likely to have his order reaffirmed, if not immediately, over the medium term, maybe next fall. It's absolutely right, that analysis. And not only that, the courts let their anti-Trump animus get in the way. Basically what they said is if another president had done this, it would be okay. But because President Trump said a few things here on the outside, as you pointed out during the campaign, he can't do what would otherwise be legal for any other president to do.
Right.
And you know, this anti-Trump animus is not only deranging the media, some in Congress, some in the FBI, but it looks like some court judges are getting bound up in the craziness too.
All right, gentlemen, thank you both very much.
This is not only shady, but it smells like a rat. I, of course, do not have any idea what is contained in the rest of Comey's memos. I can say it seems pretty darn self-serving for him to have only released the one. Unlike the libs, we patriots just want the truth. They love fake news. We crave real news. If you would like to know what's in all of Comey's memos, please get this shared right away and comment, I want the truth. Everybody does. And thank goodness again for Judicial Watch for keeping the push going. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And again, thank you so much for watching.